My alternative career option which I thought was to be a lawyer.
Here we will bring you some insight about the industry directly from the professionals who are working in this industry, and we will hope this will give you a better understanding of the hospitality industry. Today podcast is about Hyatt Regency, and here is a beautiful interaction with our HR manager and the L&D manager of Hyatt Regency. Hope you enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to JB Institute of Hospitality Management Kolkata. I'm Joyita. Today I'm here in Hyatt Regency Kolkata, one of the leading brands in the city of joy. And I am here in the HR and training department with ma'am, Miss Priya Bhattacharaya. Welcome ma'am.
Hello, I'm doing very well, Joyita. Thank you so much for coming here and spending this time with me. And I look forward to giving the interview.
Always a pleasure. She's the L&D manager of this hotel, and today we'll take you to the journey of ma'am's success story, how she has become in this position, and definitely about hotel and hospitality. So ma'am, before we start the interview, if you could just tell me about the hotel, Hyatt Regency Kolkata.
Okay, so Joyita, firstly, thank you so much. It's great to interact with you and to speak about the industry, to speak about my journey. So thank you so much for coming to our hotel.
Pleasure.
Well, to speak a little bit about Hyatt Regency Kolkata, it's a legacy property. And why I call it a legacy property, because we opened on 10th of August 2002. So you can imagine this year we'll be completing 22 years in the city of joy. Of course, before Hyatt came in the city, we had other hotels also. But we were the first American company, first foreign company which came into the city. So it created a lot of buzz and stir that it was not an Indian brand. Which marked its presence in the city. So for 22 years, we have reached a lot of milestones. We have had many successes. Of course, we have also seen tough times during COVID like every other organization. But I think what makes Hyatt very special is the team member who are here, and of course the style of services. While we are very formal in our style of service, but at the same time, we don't lose our warmth at any cost. So I would love to say that we have the influence of a Western culture because we are an American company, but our roots are very much Indian when it comes to the hospitality and the style of service and the nature of service. Well, a few USPs if I have to talk about our hotel. We are a 234 rooms property, out of which we are spread across a huge land. So which means that even if we are in the very central part of the city, it's beautiful to see how beautifully the horticulture has been done, and one can understand that the front facade, the back side of the hotel is beautifully done with a lot of greenery and trees. So that actually gives a very resort kind of a vibe, although we are a very much city property. We are blessed to have some great views also surrounding our hotel. So there's the stadium and the lake and the city skyline view. So yes, we are blessed to have a beautiful team. Our strength are of course our people. We are very well known for the kind of food which we serve over here, the kind of varieties which are there across. And yes, I think that's...
Thank you ma'am. So now we want to know about you. How did you started your career and how you come to this position?
So like any other seasoned professionals working in this industry, I also started from doing hotel management. I'm a pass out. I'm an alumni of JBIHM Kolkata. So during my internship days, I was very determined that I would wish to work in hotels, come what may. So front office was my area of interest. I was fond of other areas also, but front office really caught my attention because that was one area which requires you to multitask. Like while you're taking a checkout or a check-in, as to see my seniors during the internship, you have to smile at the same time. You have to have a different conversation while you're also working on the system. Also, front office is often known as the face of the hotel because you're the first person a guest is interacting. So it can be any type of a complaint, but it lands up in front office. So it's like a challenging area what I felt. So I was determined that I would wish to join front office. I was very fortunate that on my third year, I cracked the management training program of Taj, and I started as a hotel operation management trainee in front office. So lucky to get through. I was very excited because so far I'd worked with Taj, I'd worked with Marriott, but although both Marriott and Hyatt are both American companies, but every company has their own ethos and own purpose and values, which is like pretty different. So that's when I joined Hyatt. My journey with Hyatt Regency Kolkata has been for good. It is about to be 2 years now. In 2 months, I'll be completing 2 years. From assistant manager, I grew up to becoming a learning and development manager. Learned a lot of things. I was given a lot of challenges, and with guidance, yes, I'm still striving, and I totally love what I do. I am responsible for, not just the learning and development, but also to groom and kind of guide people in many ways. So I feel very blessed to be sitting in this position, and I hope I'm doing justice to it. That's about my journey so far. It's about to be 9 years in June.
So wonderfully, you have explained your journey, ma'am. It was really indeed for us. So, ma'am, what I can understand, your flexibility and adaptability for various places, and taking the changes from different brands has given you this heights.
Absolutely.
So, can you just give us, our viewers, this point, like how you should be, flexible in this industry?
Very correctly said, Jyota. See, not just in this industry, I feel wherever you are working, or even in your personal life also, flexibility is very important. Especially, we are hoteliers, right? So our primary product, or we are dealing with human beings. Like, machines can be switched off and switched on and can be fixed. But when you're dealing with human being, you're constantly dealing with different mindsets, different background, different mood which you're coming across. So flexibility is very important. I feel a hotelier should be like liquid, like a water. So whatever container we are put into, we should be able to take the shape very easily. By that, I do not mean to say that if something is wrong, I still have to go and say yes about it, or I should also go and support it. Absolutely not. With a fine sense of judgment, of course, it's always okay to say no if you feel that it's wrong. But if not, there will be situations where we have to be flexible. Like, we have to be flexible with our working hours, right? We have to have different shifts done. Even if I am in training, there have been days I have worked on a Sunday. There has been days I have worked in an afternoon shift because my job role needed me to be in the hotel, needed me to kind of cater to my employees who are working on a busy day. So yes, flexibility is very important, whichever area. It could be operations area, it could be F&B, culinary, front office, housekeeping, finance, HR, all the areas, engineering, security, all the areas which are a part of the industry. Flexibility is important, or else it's difficult to thrive and grow. The person who won't be flexible will get stuck at one point, which is not anyone would want for himself or herself, for sure.
So your transition from like a operational department to a back of the house or the learning and development department,
Right.
so any experience do you remember, or any situation you remember that you thought that it is a quite big challenge for you?
Yes, of course. See, when I was in front office, be that a duty manager or a guest relations manager, those profiles are extremely critical because you're dealing with guests. Now, few of them used to be long stays, few of them used to be like for 2-3 nights, repeat guests. But front office or any operations area has one beauty, that once you're off shift and if you've given a proper handover, there is some other person who is taking care of the job role in your absence also. But when I moved to learning, or a part of the HR team, I did realize that it's a continuous process. So once a guest is checked out, my connect with the guest for that time period is very limited. I do not need to really interact with the guest. But when you are in a human resource or a learning profile, you're dealing with your employees who are your permanent customers. They're there throughout for you. So you have to be available. If there could be a medical emergency, at 2 in the morning also, and I have to be attentive to take the calls. And it has happened that there's been some mishap or something where the team has tried to reach out to me, because of course I will have certain data and information about the person which the other departments will not have. So in that case, I have to happily cater to it, because that's the profile. So I think the transition was, of course, one is that you move out of your comfort zone completely and you start something from the scratch after being a pro in one area. And on top of that, learning or the HR profile is very dynamic, because you're not just into learning, but you're also doing a lot of activities in and around you. So you're dealing with college students who are primarily right now Gen Z. They have a very different mindset. You are training associates and the team members, your colleagues who have 30 years of experience maybe in the industry. So you're dealing with people who are 20 years old, 18 years old, and you're also dealing with people who are 50 plus. So it's a different mindset over the different generations. So again, flexibility. I have to change the style of learning for both the generations accordingly. So yes.
Ma'am, given a choice, not hospitality, what profession is attracted the most by you?
So first, it's very difficult for me to imagine not being in hospitality and doing something else, because this is something which I've done throughout. But I think my alternative career option which I thought was to be a lawyer, because both the professions have few things in common, that you have to keep very patient, you have to keep your calm and demeanor, you should have presence of mind and logical questioning. So probably I would have been a lawyer if not a hotelier, maybe.
So ma'am, since you are taking a lot of interviews of the trainees, and I think sometimes the freshers employees also, so what are the parameters you are looking for a fresher or for a trainee?
See, parameters are pretty simple, because when a fresher is joining or we take interviews for internship, they're college students, right? So they're very new, they're not seasoned at all. So they are barely into the course for 1 year, so they have just learned the basics. So to be very honest, we do not expect them to know everything about the industry. We don't expect them to have a lot of knowledge about the technicals. Yes, basics are important, I can't say that's not important. But in first go, what is really important for us is the grooming of a person. By grooming, I mean to say as simple as someone wearing a crisp shirt, a nicely made tie, or the way someone has put makeup or hair. That presence is very important. I think that is irrelevant of any situation. Apart from that, we have been dealing with a lot of people, right? So the intent is very important. While we speak to a student and we ask them that what is your area of interest, and when they say, let's say XYZ area, so we ask them that why. So that intent is very important, that if someone is saying that I want to join front office or I want to join housekeeping, there should be a very logical reasoning why that person is more interested in it. Apart from that, there are few unsaid things like body language, how the person is sitting, what are the hand gesture, how truthful a person is. I'm not saying that it's always good to be cut and dry and blunt about things, but it is very important to be slightly honest about the reasons. For example, very common question we ask that why hotel management. So a lot of time people do end us giving the answer, the students, that ma'am, we were not best in studies, but I was great with my cooking skills. So they're really appreciated that, okay, fine, that this guy is being very truthful. So that honesty and the way they answer, it should come very organically from within, and we do get it who is framing an answer and who is being honest about it. So that's also an important factor. Apart from that, of course, the technicals part of it. We have all done the course, so I very well know that in a first year, what is the maximum thing a student can learn. So very basic questions are something which I put across, and it's from all the areas, not just their area of interest. And I think if they can get through the basic questions, I think they are pretty much good to go. That confidence in whatever they speak is very important. So all these factors are kind of things which we take into consideration while choosing a candidate.
So basically their personality, their grooming, the way they are talking,
Yes,
the body
absolutely.
language is a primary focus,
Yes.
along with their honesty.
Yeah.
Very good. And then coming back to your department once again, like Hyatt is known for their people-friendly
Yes.
culture
Absolutely.
and the strong training and development.
Yeah.
So, as a learning and development manager, what are the excellence training you are taking care for the employees?
See, a training is a very, very broad spectrum. It doesn't really end very soon, but it's a continuous process. So, the trainings which are of my core focus is also on the behavioral aspects. Of course, training people about Hyatt or about the brand or about the SOPs is something which is, of course, my job role. But more than that is to analyze. So, our guest satisfaction survey platform is very important because that gives us a very clear picture of what's going wrong and what's going rightly in the hotel. So we do a good research and development on the same. We keep a track of all the guest feedbacks which are coming in, and I formulate my training on the basis of the same. So for an example, if we are getting repeated feedback that at a certain area there is a lack of attentiveness from at a certain point of time, that's for us to realize that maybe it could be something about the soft skills or maybe something to do with the rostering part of it. So that's when I go back with the leaders, with the department heads, and we take decisions accordingly. Specialization training also includes like first aid trainings, right? Fire safety trainings. These are all ancillary trainings which we have. So there's food safety trainings which are there. Few very interesting training which includes wash trainings. So there are different segments of training which we cover, and it's for different segment of people, right? So yes, we formulate it, but of course the kind of guest feedback we get is a very major scope for us to work on what to train the people on.
And you also have their evaluation platform, how they
Yes.
are taking the training.
So evaluation platform, we have an online training
evaluation.
portal.
Okay.
Absolutely. So there are certain set of trainings which have to be done by every associate, and these are online trainings. So they have to themselves log in and facilitate the training and finish the training and submit the certificate to us. Without those trainings, they can't move ahead in their respective roles. So those are the set of trainings which has to be done, but that varies from level to level. Like an associate level will have different training versus an managerial level will have a different level of training. So that's how it is.
You are a management trainee graduate,
Right.
and you have become a duty manager within a span of I think 1.5 years or 2 years. Right?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So Hyatt is also having corporate training programs, management
Right.
training program. So if you could just tell us about this program and how the students can develop themselves to crack this program.
Right. So we at Hyatt, we don't address our management training program as management training program. We call it corporate leadership training program, which is also known as CLT. Now the difference is that we are not looking forward to just making managers in a short tenure of time, but we are grooming our candidates to be leaders in a near future. So if I have a CLT candidate, we groom them in a certain way that we would want them to become a general manager in a very short tenure of 7 to 8 years, by not taking shortcut, of course, but through intensive steps and sessions of trainings, right? So you can imagine that if a person becomes a manager or an assistant manager after just 20 months of CLT, which means that in that 20 months the person has to grab knowledge for like a 4 or 5 years knowledge altogether in just a tenure of 1.5 year approximately. So it's a wonderful program. It's a very old and a renowned program which Hyatt is running from many years now. Not just in operations area, it has a broad spectrum where we also take candidates in finance, we also take candidates in revenue, we also take candidates in sales and marketing. So there are a lot of areas which it's a huge scope which people have. Now to be preparing for that, of course, for cracking this, one has to stand out in the crowd in a good way, of course. which means that their technical skills has to be pro. There is no second thought that if I want to sit for F&B for a CLT program, I have to be a pro with every food and a wine pairing, to starting from the regions of wine. For an example, I'm saying, like, everything has to be to the T. Apart from that, of course, we have a set of values, right? Like, we have a value and purpose. So our values are, of course, there's integrity, there's respect, there is inclusion, there is experimentation. So there are like 6 of the values which we have. Our questions when we take interview are typically based on those. So we just don't go technical. We also ask questions to understand the mindset of the candidate, right? So we probably ask that, give us an example during an internship where you were empathetic to a peer or to a colleague. So when we ask such questions, that the person, we get to understand the mindset. So that mindset is very important, because we are a very people-centric organization, because our purpose is to care for people so they can be their best. So we are not looking for a candidate who can become a manager, but we are looking for a candidate who can become a leader, who can lead the team by the example, and of course sets an example where they will care for their team members also. So of course, apart from technicals, it is imperative of their attitude which they have, of the experiences they portray to us. All of these factors are important in getting through CLT. So it's not very easy, but if someone really harnesses this value, I think one can get through very easily. But the journey after that, the 20 months, it's really rigorous, and it doesn't fall very easy on the plate. So the one after cracking it, completing is also a very big challenge. So there are constant evaluations, there are projects which are given. So you're working also in your department while you're supporting the HR also in their activities. So there are a lot of things. So a person has to have a 360-degree holistic view of what they are doing in this 20 months. So yes.
So it's basically you have to have this passion for your department.
Very much.
For the industry.
Not just for the department, but for your people, for the industry altogether. The urge of doing something out of the box, thinking differently than other people who are, around, in and around you. So
then only you can excel.
Yes.
Right. So ma'am, the last point, like, this is a very interactive session. So the last question is, ma'am, like, almost all the industry has adopted this gender equality.
Yes.
And hotel and hospitality industry is where somewhere we can see male, female are working together.
Yes.
In each and every sections, and we are not actually doing any discrimination while taking the candidates. So from your experience, if you can give the feedback to the viewers.
So of course, since our college days, with every passing batch, we see that the population of female candidates have been increasing greatly. I'll give a small example. Our executive chef is a lady. Chef 𝗔ance 𝘀𝗁𝗁, she's a lady executive chef leading a team of 75 chefs who are all almost men. There are another 2 lady chefs, of course, in a team. So I think that speaks volume about the gender equality which we believe. Our HR manager is a lady, our director of event sales is a lady, our Marcom manager is a lady, the training manager is a lady. So there are a lot of strong profiles which are being held by ladies in the organization. Not just that, it is gender equality in today's world is not just about male and female, but we are also one of the organizations which has a very strong DEI goal, which is basically diversity, equity and inclusion. For us, anyone from the LGBTQ community, especially able community, male, female, anyone who is eligible to be working and who has the talent and skill to work in the industry can totally work here. We are totally up for it. Anyone who is capable can be a part of Hyatt. So we strongly believe in that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ma'am, that you have taken your precious, valuable time for us. Yes. And for the viewers. This session will be very much motivational. The upcoming students, the existing students, please give your feedback and any queries, give in our comment section. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.